Friends, today we are going to see 10th standard science unit 8 periodic classification of elements. So in this first we will see about chemical properties of iron. So first reaction is reaction with air or oxygen. So here iron is heated in the presence of oxygen. It forms magnetic oxide. So this magnetic oxide is black in color. The reaction is Fe plus O2. It gives Fe3O4. So Fe3O4 means magnetic oxide. Second reaction is reaction with moist air. When iron is exposed to moist air, it forms a layer of reddish brown hydrated ferric oxide on its surface. So this is called as rust. So the phenomenon of formation of rust is known as here rusting. So the reaction is Fe plus O2 plus H2O. It forms Fe2O3 XH2O. So this is called as rust, or you can say reddish brown hydrated ferric oxide. Third reaction is reaction with steam. When steam is passed over red hot iron, it is producing magnetic oxide plus hydrogen is liberated. So Fe means iron combines with water. So here we are taking steam. Steam means water vapor. It forms Fe3O4. So Fe3O4 means magnetic oxide. Fourth one is reaction with chlorine. Here chlorine is a halogen. So iron is reacting with chlorine. It produces ferric chloride. So Fe plus Cl2, it gives FeCl3. FeCl3 means ferric chloride. Next one is reaction with acid. So here iron is reacting with dilute acids first. So first here we'll take hydrochloric acid. Iron is reacting with dilute hydrochloric acid. It is producing ferrous chloride plus hydrogen gas. So Fe plus HCl, it forms FeCl2. FeCl2 means ferrous chloride plus hydrogen is liberated. Second one is iron is reacting with dilute sulfuric acid. It forms ferrous sulfate plus hydrogen gas is liberated. So Fe plus H2SO4, it is producing FeSO4. FeSO4 means ferrous sulfate plus hydrogen is formed. Third one is iron is reacting with dilute nitric acid in cold condition. It is producing ferrous nitrate plus ammonium nitrate plus water. Fe plus dilute HNO3, it is producing FeNO3 twice. FeNO3 twice means ferrous nitrate plus NH4NO3 means ammonium nitrate plus water is produced. Next reaction is iron is reacting with concentrated sulfuric acid. Here it is producing Fe2SO4 thrice plus SO2. SO2 means sulfur dioxide. It is a gas plus water is formed. Fe2SO4 thrice means ferric sulfate. I'll repeat. Fe plus concentrated H2SO4. It is producing Fe2SO4 thrice plus SO2 plus H2O. So Fe2SO4 thrice means ferric sulfate. Iron is dipped in concentrated nitric acid. It becomes passive or inert due to the formation of a layer of iron oxide on its surface. So here iron plus concentrated nitric acid. Here It is passive or inert. It is producing magnetic oxide. Formula is Fe3O4. Shall we revise from the beginning? First one is reaction with air or oxygen. Here iron is heated in the presence of oxygen. It is producing magnetic oxide. It is black in color. Second reaction is reaction with moist air. Iron reacts with oxygen plus water. It is producing hydrated iron oxide. This hydrated iron oxide is called as rust. Third one is reaction with steam. When steam is passed over red hot iron, it is producing magnetic oxide plus hydrogen. Fourth one is reaction with chlorine. Chlorine is a halogen. Iron is reacting with chlorine. It is producing ferric chloride. Fe plus Cl2 gives FeCl3. FeCl3 means ferric chloride. Fifth one is reaction with acid. Iron is reacting with dilute hydrochloric acid. It is producing ferrous chloride plus hydrogen. Iron is reacting with dilute sulfuric acid. Here it is producing ferrous sulfate plus hydrogen. Next one is iron is reacting with dilute nitric acid in cold condition. It is producing FeNO3 twice plus NH4NO3 plus H2O. Next one is Fe is reacting with concentrated sulfuric acid. It is producing Fe2SO4 thrice plus SO2 plus H2O. Fe2SO4 thrice means ferric sulfate. And last one is iron plus concentrated nitric acid. Here it becomes passive or inert due to the formation of magnetic oxide on its surface. Physical properties of iron. Iron is a lustrous metal. Lustrous means shining. It is grayish white in color. When it is rusting, the color is changed. Next one is it has high tensile. Tensile means strong. Malleable. Malleable means they can be beaten into thin sheets. And ductile. Ductile means it is drawn into thin wires and it can be magnetized. So first point is it is a lustrous metal, grayish white in color, and it has high tensile, malleable and ductile, and it can be magnetized. So here you will get 2 more questions. Mention the physical properties of iron. Next one is uses of iron. So first one is pig iron, second one is steel, third one is wrought iron. So pig iron is having here 2 to 4.5% of carbon. Carbon symbol is C. It is a non-metal. Second, steel is having 0.25% of carbon. And third one is 0.25% to 2% of carbon. So here this pig iron is used to make pipes, stoves, radiators, railings, manhole covers and drain pipes. Steel is used in the construction of buildings, machinery, transmission cables and TV towers, in making alloys. Third one is wrought iron. It is used to make springs, anchors and electromagnets. Next one we are going to see about alloys. An alloy is a homogeneous mixture of 2 or more metals or of 1 or more metals with certain non-metallic elements. So here non-metallic elements means carbon. Carbon is a non-metal. Symbol is here C for carbon. The properties of alloys are different from those of its components, that is metals. So here pure gold is too soft, it can break easily. So to increase its strength, we are adding here a small amount of copper to get hard. So next one we are going to see about amalgam. And amalgam is an alloy of mercury with another metal. Here mercury symbol is Hg. Next, here amalgam is formed through metallic bonding with the electrostatic force of attraction between the electrons and the positively charged metal ion. I'll repeat. The amalgam is formed by the metallic bonding with the electrostatic force of attraction between the electrons and the positively charged metal ions. Next one, silver tin amalgam is used for dental filling. Dental means tooth. Silver symbol is Ag, tin symbol is Sn. So silver tin amalgam is used for dental filling. So next one, we'll see about reasons for alloying. So first reason is to modify appearance and color. Totram, niram. Second reason is to modify chemical activity. Third one is to lower the melting point. Some metals are having high melting point. So when you combine, we can easily lower the melting point. Fourth one is to increase hardness and tensile strength. So I told you already, the pure gold is too soft. So to increase its strength, we are adding copper to get here hardness. Last one is to increase resistance to electricity. Shall we revise reasons for alloying? So first reason is to modify appearance and color. Second one is to modify chemical activity. Third one is to lower the melting point. Fourth one is to increase hardness and tensile strength. To increase resistance to electricity. Next we will see about methods of making alloys. So first method is here by fusing the metals together. Fusing means melting. Example, brass. Brass is an alloy. It is a combination of zinc and copper. Zinc symbol is Zn, copper symbol is Cu. So brass is made by melting zinc and copper. Second method is by compressing finely divided metals. Here we can see one example, that is wood metal. It is an alloy of lead, tin, bismuth and cadmium powder. Lead symbol is Pb, tin symbol is Sn, bismuth symbol is Bi. So wood metal, it is an alloy. It is a combination of lead, tin, bismuth and cadmium powder. Next one is alloys as solid solutions. So alloys are considered as solid solutions. Alloys in which the metal with high concentration is called as solvent. With low concentration, it is called as solute. For example, brass. Brass is an alloy. So brass is a combination of two metal. One is zinc, another one is copper. Here zinc is acting as solute and copper is acting as solvent. Solvent means here it is having high concentration. Here zinc is called as solute because it is having less concentration. And we are going to see about types of alloys. The alloys can be classified into two types. One is called as ferrous alloys, another one is called as non-ferrous alloys. Ferrous alloys, here it contains iron as major components. So this ferrous iron, it is having some examples. One is stainless steel, another one is nickel steel. So stainless steel is an alloy. It is containing iron, carbon, nickel and chromium. Here it is used to make utensils, cutlery, automobile parts. Next one, we are going to see about nickel steel. So this nickel steel is containing iron, carbon and nickel. So it is used to make cables, aircraft parts and propeller. So here nickel steel is not having chromium, but stainless steel is having chromium in this case. Is non-ferrous alloys, I said. So this non-ferrous alloys are having some examples. One is called as aluminium alloy, another one is called as copper alloy. So this aluminium alloy, here it is containing two types. One is called here duramine. This duramine is containing aluminium, magnesium, manganese, copper. Al means aluminium, Mg means magnesium, Mn means manganese and Cu means copper. So these are the elements are used to prepare duramine. This duramine is used to make aircrafts, tools, pressure cookers. Next one is magnesium. This magnesium is a combination of aluminium and magnesium. Al means aluminium, Mg means magnesium. This magnesium is used to make aircrafts and scientific instruments. So next one we are going to see about copper alloy. So this copper alloy is having two types. One is called as brass, another one is called as, so brass is containing copper and zinc. Cu means copper, Zn means zinc. Here it is used to make electrical fittings, medals, decorative items and hardware. And last one is bronze. So bronze, here it is a combination of copper and tin. Sn means tin. It is used to make statues, coins, bells and gongs. From the beginning, types of alloys. Types of alloys can be classified into two types. Here it can be classified into two types. One is ferrous alloys, another one is non-ferrous alloys. Ferrous alloys means iron is present as a major component. Non-ferrous alloys means iron is not present as a major component. So this ferrous alloys, example stainless steel, nickel steel. So stainless steel is used to make utensils, cutlery and automobile parts. Nickel steel is used to make cables, aircraft parts and propeller. Here non-ferrous alloys, example aluminium alloy, copper alloy. So aluminium alloy, here it is having two. One is called as duramine, another one is called as magnesium. Duramine is used to make aircrafts, tools and pressure cookers. Magnesium is used to make aircrafts and scientific instruments. Next one is copper alloy. This copper alloy is having two types. One is called as brass and another one is called as bronze. So this brass is having copper and zinc. Bronze is having copper and tin. So brass is used to make electrical fittings, medals, decorative items and hardware. Bronze is used to make statues, coins, bells and gongs. Here you will be getting short answer. That is, explain the types of alloys. Or they'll ask question. Pressure cookers are prepared by using dash alloy. Or scientific instruments are prepared by using dash alloy. Like this you will get one mark questions. Next one we will see about corrosion. It is a gradual destruction of metals by chemical or electrochemical reaction with the environment. It is a natural process. So here the metal is converted into metal oxide or hydroxide or sulfide, so that it loses its metallic characteristics. I repeat, corrosion means it is a gradual destruction of metals by chemical or electrochemical reaction with the environment. Next one we will see about rusting. So already you have seen in the case of chemical properties of iron. So here iron is reacting with moisture. Moisture means oxygen is present, water particle is present. So iron is reacting with moisture means it is producing a layer of reddish brown hydrated ferric oxide. Formula is Fe2O3XH2O. It is called as rust. The phenomenon of formation of rust is known as rusting. This is the 2-mark question. What is mean by rusting? Here you are having what is mean by corrosion. Another 2-mark question. Next one, the types of corrosion. So here we are having two types of corrosion. One is called as dry corrosion or chemical corrosion. Another one is called as wet corrosion or electrochemical corrosion. So first we will see about dry corrosion or chemical corrosion. So the dry corrosion means the corrosive action in the absence of moisture is called dry corrosion or chemical corrosion. So in the absence of moisture means no wet particle. So it is taking place in dry condition. Here the chemical reaction is taking place between the metal and corrosive liquids or gases. Gases such as oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur dioxide, hydrogen sulfide. So oxygen symbol is O2, nitrogen symbol is N2, sulfur dioxide formula SO2, hydrogen sulfide formula is H2S, etc. So it is taking place at high temperature. So here we are seeing the gases. So among these gases, this oxygen is most reactive. Wet corrosion or electrochemical corrosion. Here the corrosive action in the presence of moisture is called wet corrosion or electrochemical corrosion. So here it is taking place in the presence of moisture. Moisture means wet. So next one, the chemical reaction is taking place between metal with water or aqueous solution of salt or acid or bases. I repeat, here the corrosive action in the presence of moisture is called wet corrosion or electrochemical corrosion. Here the chemical reaction is taking place between metal and water or aqueous solution of salts or bases or acids. Shall we revise from the beginning? So first one, we will see about corrosion. What is meant by corrosion? So it is the gradual destruction of metals by chemical or electrochemical reaction with the environment. Second one is what is meant by rust. So it is a reddish brown hydrated ferric oxide. Hydrated means addition of water. So formula is Fe2O3XH2O. It is called as rust. The phenomenon of formation of rust is known as rusting. Next one, types of corrosion. Here we are having two types of corrosion. One is called as dry corrosion or chemical corrosion. Another one is wet corrosion or electrochemical corrosion. So here the corrosive action is taking place in the moisture. It is called as dry corrosion. Next one, the corrosive action is taking place in the presence of moisture. It is called as wet corrosion or electrochemical corrosion. Here we are having some gases: oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur dioxide, hydrogen, sulfur. So here oxygen is the most reactive gas. It is at a high temperature. In this case here the reaction is taking place with the water or aqueous solution of salt or acid or bases. So here you will be getting question. Explain the types of corrosion, or they will ask in 2 mark question. What is dry corrosion or chemical corrosion, and what is wet corrosion or electrochemical corrosion? Next one, we are going to see about methods of preventing corrosion. First method is alloying. The metals can be alloyed to prevent from corrosion. Example, stainless steel. So this stainless steel is a combination of iron, carbon, nickel and chromium. Surface coating. Surface coating, it involves application of a protective coating over the metal. So here we are having different types. So first type we'll see galvanization. So it is the process of coating zinc on iron sheet by using electric current. So you can just take, you consider this as iron sheet. Over this we are giving coating with the help of zinc. So zinc symbol is Zn. So it is the process of coating zinc on iron sheet by using electric current. So this is called as galvanization. Next, plating. So it is a method of coating one metal over another metal by passing electric current. So this is called as electroplating. For example, silver. Silver is the base metal. Over this we are coating with the help of gold. So after electroplating, the silver material is looking like gold. Next one is anodizing. It is an electrochemical process that converts the metal surface into a decorative, durable and corrosion resistance. Here, aluminium is used for anodizing process. Aluminium symbol is Al. It is a metal. Last one is cathodic protection. It is the method of controlling corrosion of a metal surface. Protected is coated with the metal which is easily corrodable. The easily corrodable metal is called as sacrificial metal. It is acting as anode and it is ensuring cathodic protection. Ensuring means conforming. So this is called as cathodic protection. Shall we revise from the beginning? So first one is alloy. Here metals can be alloyed to prevent from corrosion. Example, stainless steel. Second method is surface coating. Here we are having different types. So first type is galvanization. So it is the process of coating zinc on iron sheet by using electric current. So this is called as galvanization. Next one is electroplating. So it is a method of coating one metal over another metal by passing electric current. The third one is anodizing. So it is an electrochemical process that converts the metal surface into a decorative, durable and corrosion resistance. So here we have seen aluminium. So aluminium is used for anodizing process. Last one is cathodic protection. So it is the method of controlling corrosion of a metal surface. Protected is coated with the metal which is easily corrodable. So this metal is called as sacrificial metal and here it is acting as a anode. So this method is called as cathodic protection. Here you will get detailed question. Explain the methods of preventing corrosion. Next one, 2 mark questions. Define galvanization. What is electroplating? What is anodizing process? Last one is what is cathodic protections? We will see about Pamban Bridge. It is a railway bridge which connects the town of Rameswaram on Pamban Island to mainland India. In 1914, the sea bridge was opened. It was India's first sea bridge. Next one comes Bandra Holy Sea Link. It was opened in the year 2010. So we can prevent from corrosion by periodical protective coating.